The following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune. Always good to have this gentleman in the studio. You know it's going to be fun, energetic, and an e-ticket ride for those folks who are old enough to understand what that is from Disneyland. And there's Tomas Herrera-Mishler. Did I say that close enough?
Close enough, yeah.
Close
Herrera,
enough,
you know.
Very, very good. I got to work on my Costa Rican, pronunciations.
There you go.
He's the president and the CEO of the Balboa Park Conservancy. So how are you doing, Tomas?
Awesome. It's December Nights Day.
So that's right. And for those 0 people in San Diego County who have not heard of December Nights, it is a huge celebration. How long has December Nights been going on?
More than 40 years now.
It's been 40 years, yeah. And I think I've been going to, I've been in San Diego for 44 years now. And I think I've probably gone to almost every one of these things. Well, I mean, not every one of them in that aspect of it. Talk a little bit about, your role with December Nights. I know it's shifted a bit and all that, but obviously being in the Balboa Park Conservancy, right in the middle of things. And then we'll talk about what you folks do and how our listeners can help support your efforts.
Wow. Well, the Balboa Park Conservancy is supporting this amazing community celebration of the holidays. We have a group of amazing volunteers, our park ambassadors, and they're out there helping people have a great visit. Exactly.
So December Nights is tonight, Friday the 6th. The kickoff at a certain time?
Oh, yeah. Well, it opens at 3, and we encourage everyone to grab a ride share or take a bus or walk. You'll notice I don't mention driving, but there's plenty of parking available. There's a great parking structure with a very inexpensive fee at 5th and Ash, and then you can ride a free shuttle up to the park, or there's a lot of parking over at City College, too.
So is it 5th and Ash or 6th and Ash? And I'll tell you why, because I park at 6th and Ash, and I saw as I was driving into our parking lot today that they were all getting ready for December Nights. And Tomas brings up a very, very good point. You definitely want to, if you can, avoid, parking. Some people can't. Got it driving down from North County or East County. Get there early, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And are there going to be shuttles from these, or you have to find your own Uber or whatever, or Brave and walk in or whatever?
There's a free shuttle from the downtown parking structure that you park at. It's between 5th and 6th on Ash, right?
Exactly.
And then if you park at City College, it's a really short walk.
It is.
Hey, it's a park. It's a walk in the park. So
it is a walk in the park over there. How many folks do you expect on both days?
Wow, it's hard to say, but over 100,000 people each day.
And this is a way, and the unbelievable museums and organizations and restaurants and everything else that's associated with the park, just literally opens the doors, does it not?
All the museums are open from 5 to 9 for free. It's amazing. It's such a gift to the city, a gift to the region, just like Balboa Park is every day.
Right, again, and it goes from 3 to 9 tonight, okay?
3 to 10.
3 to 10, 3 to 10 or something like that,
10,
okay.
Yeah,
and then how about on Saturday? About the same?
No, it opens at 11.
Opens at 11 and goes same aspect of it. And, one of my favorites, and I'm sure a lot of the folks that are listening to, is, all the hospitality houses are open and serving their unbelievably native foods and drinks. Correct?
Glug. You got to go get some glug.
That's one of our favorite stops over here. Exactly.
So things have moved around a little bit this year because the California Quadrangle in front of the Museum of Man is closed.
Okay.
So there's right outside of it. It will be the usual Swedish marketplace, and then the International Spirits Garden is moved over next to the building that used to be where the Hall of Champions and where soon Comic-Con Museum will be. They had to move it because we're building some new international cottages.
Nice. So which ones?
Well, one of them is the House of Panama, House of Peru, House of Mexico. So we have some exciting new additions coming to the park. think about it. We've got the Museum of Man, the seismic retrofit on the tower, so that's a really great investment the city's making.
Sure.
And the new cottages, and I'm so excited, the restoration of the Botanical Building.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's a very, very cool place. And the whole park is cool for that matter. We're chatting with Tomas Herrera-Mishler. He is the president and CEO of the Balboa Park Conservancy, chatting about December Nights, which kicks off tonight, Friday, February the 6th, from about 3 to 10 o'clock, give or take, and then tomorrow go from 11 to 9 or 10 o'clock as well. And again, probably can go ahead and Google and see where the best places are to Uber and park and all that business. It'll be crowded. It'll be fun. There is so much going on at the Oregon Pavilion. There's, I imagine there's music and performances, correct?
Yeah, actually, we got a last-minute request by a group that a few of us have heard of called the Village People.
That's very good.
And
one of our favorite YMCA,
yeah,
right?
They'll
Exactly.
be performing some new holiday music and some
Really?
of their old classics on Saturday evening. Yeah.
Very good, Village People. All right, well, we'll need to keep an eye on that. Getting back to the Conservancy, so you came on board in 2015, but the Conservancy was only founded about 4 years prior, correct?
Yeah, 2011 is when it got
Yes.
started.
So, again, the mission is to be a steward of everything going on in Balboa Park?
So really what we do is we raise funds, we develop public-private partnerships, and we really collaborate with park stakeholders to work on sustainability and accessibility in the park.
Right, so you obviously have a very strong relationship, of course, with the city itself. And the county, I imagine, too?
Well, so we partner with the San Diego Department of Parks and Recreation on everything we do,
Right.
We do reach out to the county for funding and have been successful in getting some funding as well. We're working on a great project right now in partnership with the city with some county funding to enhance the Casa del Prado, which is where all those wonderful youth arts programs are based, civic dance and the youth symphony and all these amazing, amazing groups. But the building's, it's a little tired.
Right.
And so thanks to this small grant from the county and then some very generous donors, we're going to repaint, we're going to re-landscape, we're relighting starting on Monday. So look for a fresher, more welcoming Casa del Prado.
Right. So do you work with any museums themselves, per se, or they're doing their own development and fundraising when they're inside their own venues?
Correct. So every museum, every leaseholder is responsible for their own venue.
Right.
And, for example, the Mingay Museum is yesterday announced that they're rebuilding. They're starting construction on an amazing, amazing reconstruction of their beautiful museum.
Right. Right, exactly. And so then, now, do you folks work on the grounds mainly, or, again, it really just depends on the project?
So it really depends on the project. For example, the amazing historic Botanical Building.
Right.
What we've done is all of the community outreach, all of the restoration planning, and fundraising so far. We're so pleased to get an allocation of $8.26 million from the state. Thank you, Tony Atkins and Todd Gloria. They worked really hard to get that money for us. And then we're so pleased. The Save America's Treasures program through the National Park Service allocated $256,000 to the project. And so it's such a great seal of approval. It's sort of like the seal of good housekeeping when you get a Save America's Treasures grant.
Right. Now, you have experience in working with iconic parks, of course, as we've chatted about, Tomas, before on this. Where would you put Balboa Park in comparison to whether it's Central Park or some of the places you've worked with before?
So, wow, that's a challenging question in some ways.
Because they're different, and they and they serve different, means, I imagine, in some ways.
So what's so unique about Balboa Park is this combination of historic places, national historic landmark landscapes and buildings, populated by this collection of cultural institutions set in 1,200 acres of parkland that has 65 miles of trails, 15,000 trees, and a sort of astounding array of recreational assets. So it is in some ways quite unique. I've been trying to find another similar park And the only one I can find that comes close is this amazing park called El Parque Fundidora in Monterrey, Mexico, where it was the site of a massive steel plant that closed in 1986. They took all the historic buildings associated with this enormous facility and turned them into cultural institutions surrounded by beautiful landscaping and recreational assets. And it's urban, so it's
right.
Similar. It is operated by a public-private partnership, and unlike Balboa Park, it has the cleanest, safest restrooms I've ever seen in a public park.
Right. Now, let me ask you about that question. We have about a minute before we go to break over here, and then I want to talk about your Plant It Forward program, which sounds so cool. And, of course, in this day and age with climate change, planting anything is probably a good thing.
Yes, it is.
We'll talk about that, as well. So the restrooms, does that fall under each of the museum's purviews? And there's some restrooms that are outside the museums, correct?
Sure. So we have wonderful restrooms in the House of Hospitality, the cleanest, safest, nicest restrooms open to the public all the time. And I'm really proud of them because the Conservancy takes care of them.
Right.
And each museum has restrooms as well. And then there are freestanding restrooms out in the landscape that public is maintained by Parks and Recreation. And the buildings are old. A lot of them date back to the 60s.
Right.
And they're tough because they're open 24/7.
Right.
And so
is that right?
Yeah, that's really tough. When they were having the hepatitis outbreak, it was really hard, and so they opened them up.
And so let's hold that thought till we come back from break. I want to talk more about that aspect, and then, of course, talk about the Plant It Forward and all the other cool things you guys are doing, and most importantly, how our listeners can support your efforts.
Fantastic.
You bet. We're going to be back with Tomas Herrera-Mishler. He's the president and CEO of the Balboa Park Conservancy. I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and you've been listening to another edition of the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio. We're brought to you by Retirement Strategies Group. Retirement made simple, folks.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here live with Karen Terra, and we've got 3 minutes. Karen, welcome to Cloudcast 180, CEO of Emilio Norris Foundation. Karen, let's get right into it. Can you tell our audience all about the Norris family and how ENF started?
Well, it started with a little boy, Emilio Norris, who was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 3 and sadly passed away shortly before his 6th birthday. And in the time that he was sick and battling his disease in the hospital, his parents, Diane and Richard, noticed that there were families who were not able to get to their cancer treatments because they didn't have a car, or the primary parent who worked took the car to work, so they didn't have access to transportation. So they wanted to do something about it, and they started the Emilio Norris Foundation 15 years ago.
So after 15 years, they turned this tremendous loss into a tremendous amount of love for young people here in San Diego suffering from cancer. So just out of curiosity, how many kids actually miss their cancer treatments due to transportation issues?
Over 3,000 children in Southern California miss their cancer treatments because of lack of transportation. In the last 15 years, since we've been providing Ride with Emilio, we have eliminated that problem. Children are no longer missing their cancer treatments in San Diego and Orange County because of lack of transportation.
You've eliminated the problem. That's the goal of every nonprofit organization. That's incredible.
Yes, we serve every child who needs a ride to their cancer treatment. We serve them. We are able to say with confidence that there is no child in San Diego County who is missing his cancer treatment.
Now, you have something really special coming up, I understand. 1 million miles you've driven.
Yes. That will happen early next year in February. We're really excited about that. That's pretty significant. So in the 15 years that we've been in operation, we will have traveled 1 million miles driving children to and from their chemo treatments, their cancer treatments, whatever they need for us to ensure that they will get to their treatments on time every time.
I mean, that's an incredible accomplishment. How do folks get involved with ENF? And then tell us what's next.
Well, they can come to our website at enfhope.org and find all the information about all of our programs there. And as we mentioned, in February, we're going to be launching our 1 millionth mile campaign. And it's going to be a month-long campaign in March. and starting